So, imagine a future where AI agents aren't just stuck in the digital world. Imagine they can autonomously discover, hire, and control physical machines. Drones, 3D printers, you name it, even entire factories, anywhere on the planet. This isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. It's actually starting to happen. But, it creates this one fundamental problem.
I mean, really think about it. If your AI needs to hire a drone, say, to go inspect your roof, how does it know that drone is legit? How does it know it can actually do the job? And maybe more importantly, how does it know the drone won't just take your payment and, fly off? In this open, decentralized world we're building, we absolutely need a way to establish identity, reputation, and trust for these physical agents. Without that, the whole thing just falls apart.
So how do we solve this? Well, today, we're going to break down the foundational layers of this new machine economy. We'll start with what's basically a passport system for robots, then we'll look at the universal remote that lets an AI control them. We'll see how these pieces all snap together in the YakRover protocol, walk through the technical flow, and then we'll zoom out to see the incredible future this stuff is building.
Okay, so the solution, it actually starts on the Ethereum blockchain with a new standard called ERC 8004. You can think of it as the neutral trust anchor for this entire ecosystem. It's the foundational identity layer for machines. The power of ERC 8004
is really in its simplicity. It's not some super complex system. It's just a standardized, on-chain way for a machine to say, hey, here I am, here's what I can do, and here's my track record. And it can do all of that without needing a big company like Google or Amazon to vouch for it. It's pure, decentralized trust.
So how does it pull this off? Well, ERC 8004 uses 3 simple registries. First up, you've got identity. Each agent gets a unique passport in the form of an NFT. This is its permanent on-chain handle. Second, reputation. This works kind of like an Amazon reviews page, a standard way for other agents to leave public on-chain feedback. And third, there's validation. This is a way for trusted third parties to verify that the agent actually did its job correctly. Think of it like a cryptographic background check.
Okay, so our AI agent can find a robot, and thanks to ERC 8004, it can verify that it's trustworthy. Awesome. But now what? How does it actually talk to it? I mean, you can't be expected to write custom code for every single machine on the network. That would be insane. You need a universal language.
And that's where the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, comes in. It's basically a universal remote control. It's a standard that lets any robot advertise its capabilities, what it calls its tools, in a format that any large language model can understand, like instantly. We're talking simple commands like move forward, get temperature, or take picture. What this means is the AI doesn't need to know anything about the robot's specific hardware. It just needs to know how to speak MCP. All right, now we get to the really cool part. We get to see how these two big ideas, ERC 8004 for trust and MCP for control, come together in a real-world open-source project. The YakRover Discovery Protocol is really the first blueprint for creating one of these decentralized networks of physical machines.
The goal here is simple, but it's also incredibly ambitious. The question is, can an LLM agent, starting with absolutely zero knowledge, scan the blockchain, find a physical rover, verify its identity, understand its capabilities, and then start controlling it in real time? Let's see how it works.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Let's walk through the exact sequence of events, from the moment a robot gets registered on the network to the moment an AI actually takes control.
So here's the 4-step process. First, register. The Tumblr rover gets registered on-chain, and that creates its ERC 8004 NFT passport. Step 2, store. This passport points to a JSON file that's stored on IPFS, which is a decentralized storage network. This file is basically the robot's instruction manual. It lists all its MCP tools, and crucially, it gives you the API endpoint, served by a fast API gateway to control it. 3, discover. An LLM agent scans the blockchain looking for agents with the category robot, finds the Tumblr's NFT, and just follows the link to its manual on IPFS. And finally, 4, control. The LLM now has the MCP endpoint and can instantly start firing off commands. So you see, the blockchain is for discovery, IPFS holds the manual, and MCP is for control.
Now, this system is super powerful for just one robot, but let's be real. The vision here is a massive global fleet. The very first version of this used individual scripts for each machine, which, as you can imagine, was impossible to scale. So the project had to evolve. And evolve it did.
The whole architecture got a major redesign, all centered around a single, flexible gateway. So instead of wrestling with custom code for every new machine, you can now add a new robot, or any piece of hardware really, by just creating a small, self-contained plugin. This gateway brings everything together, and it exposes a central fleet endpoint that lets an AI discover all the available machines at once. This is the critical leap from a manual hobby project to a truly scalable piece of infrastructure.
And hey, this isn't just for little rovers. This whole pluggable gateway idea is a blueprint for connecting any physical asset to the AI economy. You could add a drone, a 3D printer, or even your Roomba using the Matter protocol. But think bigger. This could be the control layer for autonomous labs, smart factories, or even chemical plants. It's creating a standard for physical infrastructure as a service.
All right, let's zoom out for a second and just appreciate the scale of what's being built here. This isn't just some cool robotics project. It's a foundational piece of infrastructure for an entirely new kind of economy. When you combine a decentralized trust layer like ERC 8004 with a universal control standard like MCP, what you get are the fundamental building blocks for a world where AI agents can just seamlessly interact with the physical world. It's a system where machines can offer their services, get discovered, and get hired by other machines, all without any humans in the loop. And that leaves us with a really powerful question. We've seen the how, but the what? Well, that's still being written. When any AI can access any physical tool, from a simple light bulb to a complex manufacturing plant, what new applications, what new businesses, and what new scientific discoveries suddenly become possible? That is the future this protocol is starting to unlock.